Buonasera ancora a tutti, welcome everybody and welcome to Valeria Golino that we are very, very happy to have here with us tonight. And I think she deserves a full round of applause for her. I'm not going to do a full-fledged presentation of Valeria. As I said, today is all dedicated to her, and after this event there is another part at IFC organized by our friends of N.I.C.E, Viviana and Bianco and her collaborators. So don't forget, after our Q&A and the reception upstairs at 8:30 at IFC, we'll have a chance to see a work in progress, a fragment of the film Valeria Golino is working on. No? No. There's a change in program. Tell us what's going to happen.
Hello.
I'm sorry, my fault. Okay.
Good evening. No, actually, there is going to be something. There's going to be, first of all, a movie called The Kryptonite, La Kryptonite nella Borsa, which is a movie that I did last year as an actress. Ivan Cotroneo is the director. He's a directorial debut of a very, very talented writer. And right before that, there is a short movie that I did, my first my first try as a director, which I did 2 years ago, which is called Armandino el Madre, and it lasts only 14 minutes, so that's good. As a debut, you know, you take it easy for the public and for everybody. So that's the good news.
So, but we are not going to see the
and you're not going to see the 5 minutes of my. I'm doing a movie as a director as it is. Right now I'm at the end of the editing process, and I'm starting, as soon as I come back, the mix. I'm mixing the movie, so it's going to be ready at the end of November. We were supposed to bring here Sì, non so che cosa vuol dire Viviana riguardo.
C'è un problema di supporto.
It's the Italian way. Sometimes we did the trailer, but we just realized they just realized it's not the same support, it's not the same system, and so tonight they're not going to be able. I think they probably will be able to see it in San Francisco in the next 2 days, but not tonight because.
But let's start with that. Even if we're not going to see it and nobody's going to see it in New York, you have a way with words, and it's your debut as a director of a feature film, a feature-length film,
Yes.
and it's a film with a very, very strong, intense topic. It's about euthanasia. It's a topic that has been discussed well all over the world, but in particularly in Italy in recent years, and it's a very intense story. Tell us what you can tell us about your film and your decision to make a film as a debut with such an important, heated and debated topic.
Well, it is true that euthanasia has been discussed, of course, in our daily lives in Italy a lot. I think in different ways everywhere, because if there is a universal theme, is one of the universal themes that there is it could be that, and in every country there is different ways of approaching that issue, and in some countries, of course, is more progressive more than others. In Italy, we have, as we all know, the Church, the Vatican, and a certain kind of mentality. So it has been more of a tortuous
Remind me, the film comes from a book. It's an adaptation of a book.
Yes, the film comes from a
Can you
book.
tell us something about the book?
Absolutely. I'll tell you everything again. As fast as
Since
I
we
can.
are not going to see it, at least you might as well tell us about it.
Actually, I want to say this, which is quite important, because, for example, Marco Bellocchio, which is a great Italian director, did a movie that regards euthanasia this year. Haneke did Amour, which has to do also with the same issue this year, last year.
Which won the
this
Palme
year.
d'Or in Cannes.
Which won the Palme d'Or in Cannes, so I am like crushed of two giant directors.
Did you know that Bellocchio was making this film when you were
We
studying?
found out
working
kind of
abroad?
at the same time, and he was kind of like gently annoyed with me. He was like, I heard we're doing a movie about the same thing. Like, say, you little shit, get out. Well, how? No, he was kind of like, I could see that, he was like, what? But
He's a
actually,
gentleman, but
he is a gentleman, yes.
Yeah.
But truthfully, it's not. I mean, it is because finally it is about leaving, going away before the time. Let's say, no, euthanasia is leaving this world before the plan. You know, kind of the emergency exit. But it's not. My movie is not about euthanasia. My movie is about assisted suicide. I'm sorry to be this dark, it's not, it's nicer to see it than to talk about it, like, you know, to start the evening like that. But it has a difference. Euthanasia is one thing and assisted suicide is another. Just to say that who does assisted suicide in Italy is absolutely illegal. You cannot do it. And you're not helping somebody who is actually dying and not being able to ask for it. Or just you are doing it to him or to her. Assisted suicide is a request of the sick person who knows exactly what he's doing, who has probably months to go or not. This is up to the person, and you are helping a decision that has been made, and you're not actually doing it. You're just helping him do it. It's legally different, and it's also finally ethically is very delicate.
How did you find the book and what did you do with it?
The book is a book called Vi Perdono, I Forgive You. It's from it was written supposedly by a woman called Angela Del Fabbro.
What did you say supposedly?
Because it was really supposedly, she didn't want to be known. She didn't want to have to participate to any kind of. It was a pseudonymous. How you say it?
Pseudonym, a pen name.
Yes.
Yeah.
For somebody that nobody knew who it was. Eventually, a year later, after the book came out, a year and a half later, we found out that it was not a woman, it was a man, that it was not an unknown writer, but a quite well-known writer in Italy called Mauro Kovacic, who had written the book for all his reasons with a pseudonym. Yeah.
And did you work with him? Did he work on the script?
I met him. No, no, not at all. Actually, it was a choice not to involve him in the. I wrote the script with two writers, woman writers, friends and writers of script writers, and I did meet Mauro Kovacic a few times because I find him very interesting and very edgy thinker. So it's interesting to have a drink with him and talk, but I would have not included him in the movie because when the moment the book leaves him, it's another story. My movie has almost nothing to do with his book anymore. Even it's totally, it kind of steals something from the book, and it becomes something else.
And is it going to keep the same title, or are you going to change the title for the movie?
We may change the title.
Okay.
Because, besides us, who don't really like it very much, but we got used to it, Vi perdono, I forgive you, It's kind of parent-oriented. the beginning I thought was kind of strong, and then slowly it kind of got a little bit old for us too, and we may change it. So it's we probably will change it.
Okay, we'll be
Now-
on the lookout whatever title you decide to give
Yes.
to the film.
Yes,
And
please.
just now we're stepping back. We attacked you on the film
Yes.
that you were not going to see, that is not completed
Yes.
yet. But we're going to make a few steps back. You are probably the most international actor, and I say actor deliberately between male and female that we have right now. You lived in LA for 4 years. You made films with
10
Italian,
years.
Greek, 10 Italian, Greek, American directors, French directors, and surprisingly, because here we have several students of cinema, you have never studied cinema or acting. How did you become the actress that you are without studying acting?
Like
We have to say that you're
I
14
started-
or a little more than that, and Lina Wertmüller found you. You
Yes.
started working with her.
16, when I was 16 and
And
a half.
your first 2 films were with Lina Wertmüller.
No, my first film
Your
was
first.
Lina Wertmüller. That's what happened. Basically, I started early enough where I wasn't even thinking of becoming an actress. It's just one of those stories when it just happens to you. Of course, I was a very cinephile. I say cinephile from a very cinephile family. Loved movies. Was always interested in them.
But until then, you didn't want to become an actor.
It wasn't my dream. It wasn't my dream. So I was still going to school, and so I was modeling, but even that, it was more of a vanity adolescent thing than anything else. And I was planning to go to university, to college, where all the things that you're supposed to do.
Can I ask you, what did you learn, especially from your international experience, now that you're a director? How did you learn, or what did you learn being an actor, now that you direct other people
Well, everything I know I learned by being an actor.
on the set?
Always,
Yeah.
everything I know, the good and the bad. I've done almost 80 movies, 75, 78, I don't know anymore, but many. So everything that I've learned in this since I'm 16, 30 years, is from being, an actress, really. I'm not always glad to think that that's the thing, but it is, it's my life. It's
There is a line that Hollywood people used to say, that theater is the ultimate medium for actors, cinema for directors, and television for producers. Do you agree?
I would say yes, I do agree, yeah. Even if I am a movie actress, cinema actress, I do think that probably the ultimate experience for an actor is to be in theater. I don't have that passion, even if I appreciate it when I see it in others. I don't like the repetition of things. It's not in my nature. So even if I find it fantastic to watch and to see the process of acting, also because I don't have a technique as an actress, I never learned that. So probably it's also because of my limitations. But at this point, I could probably do it. I don't have really
What was
the
the
desire.
most difficult thing on the set? Where to put the camera, how to lock the scene?
As a director,
As
As
a
a director, of course, but yes.
It's hard. For me, it was hard. I mean, it was great. Everybody says, was it a great experience? Yes, a great experience. Do I want to do it again? Yes, I would love to, if somebody would take a chance to get. But it was hard. It was very hard. Much harder for me than to be an actress, of course, because as an actress I've learned all my, I know my way. Somehow, now I even have a technique. I've learned it during all those years. As a director, it's like you have to constantly make decisions, 100 decisions a day, from the littlest thing to the most important thing that could change, the face of your movie. And so you're constantly risking to make mistakes. for me, that's the anxiety-driven, how to say, anxiety-driven, but also kind of a, how can I say, like a creative tension in these two things, which is beautiful and not so beautiful. Because you're afraid to make mistakes. That's, at least I am afraid to make mistakes, and probably I did many. I see my movies sometimes, I'm like, oh my God, what is this? How could I do this? You know?
Did you shoot many takes? Everything?
Not that many. I don't think I should.
So you don't like repetition even as a director?
Unless you need to. Unless you need to. I mean, if you need to, you'll go for it. I think everything, there's no rules in cinema as far as you have the liberty if you do. And now with digital, if there is one good thing about digital, it is to be able to repeat and or to let go, that gives you a liberty to have actors play around, come back to it, do it again. On the other side, it doesn't give you the urgency of like, this is it, I don't have enough pellicola, I don't have enough film, I'm not going to do it 20 times unless I need to. So there's always the both ways. But in general, I don't do too many takes. I have too much, I'm kind of like the actors, which probably that's the thing that I understand the most with acting. I kind of see if actors I feel if an actor is getting annoyed to repeat it, or if it's getting better, or if, I think that's, so there is no rules. I think you can do anything in movies that you can be slow or fast. You can do it in little time or big. Finally, it's really the kind of movie you're doing, who you are, who your actors are. I could never say, well, the first take is always the best. It's not true. Sometimes, and as an actress, I've learned that. Sometimes, yes, it is, and sometimes it's the 21st take. I think that's actually the good news, that there is no rules.
I want to follow up on the question regarding your the international span of your career. And you're not only an international actress, you're an international person. Your daddy was Napolitan, right? Professor of German at the University of Naples.
He's a Germanist. He was a Germanist, but he teaches the philosophy and history.
Mm-hmm. And your mom is Greek. She's a painter, and so you're a Mediterranean. If we have to find a definition.
Not anymore. My mom used to be a painter. Now she's just like lazy.
A lazy, happy woman.
Yes, she's quite happy in Greece, beside the economical issues right now, which is not in very good shape, Greece.
So you had it somehow in you. You had from two parents from two different nationalities, and you're fluent in 4 languages, French, Italian, Greek, and English. And so, of course, that helps being an international actress. But what else does it take to be able to have an international career in cinema? I mean, of course, knowing the languages is fundamental, but it's not the only thing. There are other people who know a plurality of languages and don't use them for their career. Was it your curiosity, I
think curiosity helps a lot in everything, in this job. If there is one of the attitudes that I think it's very useful to actors for sure, and let alone directors, is curiosity. Curiosity is a fantastic tool because it makes you also enthusiastic about what you're going to do. Just curiosity. The moment you stop being curious about others, I think you've lost a big tool for you, for yourself. And that's curiosity for sure, persistence, not to get bored or afraid, lack of fear at times, a little bit of fear at times, and then again, a lot of the things I didn't do, a lot of the mistakes, I think my nature brought me to go around and to be all over the place, and that was a good thing, and in other ways it was an obstacle instead of for doing bigger things or better things, because everybody has in their nature both both their glory and their, you know, a lot of mistakes that I did, you had to do completely with me, with my way of thinking, with my fears. But at the same time, it's because of my nature that I went there and did a certain thing. So, you know, I tend not to be too severe.
Valeria, can you tell us, continuing on the same tune, I'm asking this because several students are here.
Your students?
Yes, also my students, yes. Not only my students, but yes. How would you define the major differences working on a great Hollywood production such as Rain Man compared to a film like this? Not only in terms of money, of course, in terms of approach that the director and the actor has.
I mean, you talked about two very good movies,
Yes,
in
I agree.
very different ways. One was made with much more money.
Definitely.
It's always the same thing. I mean, you know, there's no comparison. It's like, you know, like a big industry and a little artisan situation. It is. Said that, on the set, a lot of things are so similar, no matter where you do it. Then finally it does converge again in a similar way. Well, what I could say is like that was a star-driven
You all
movie.
remember Tom Cruise, Dustin Hoffman,
Yeah.
of course, Valeria.
There was a very talented director and very, at the time, star director too, which was Barry Levinson.
Who won an Oscar in the film one, I think 4 Oscars, if I remember well.
But even if Barry was like an auteur, you know, had that status as an American director and he had an authority, still it was a star-driven movie, thought out for the two big stars, and that changes a little bit. In European movies, even when you are very well known, it's usually still the director's movie. You know, it's still the biggest hierarchy of the situation is
He's
that.
still the king.
Yeah, he's still the king, and you kind of like play the game, even if you are very well known. There is a hierarchy, as I said, and a way of politics of the set, where the director is the most important. Not that it wasn't in the case of Rain Man. Not that they were both actors extremely attentive and careful to please him. But still, I think Hollywood is star-driven, much more than Europe. Not in Italy, forget it. French still has a star system.
Yeah.
It does have a star system that they protect, they indulge, and
Probably
it's part
because
of
there is
their
an
industry.
industry. There is an
Exactly.
industry.
But there is an industry also because of that.
Yeah.
It's not
Absolutely.
only-
Yeah, no, the two things go together.
In-
That
You know, there is an industry, of course, and there is a way of, you know, the perception that you have of your own cinema is going to go elsewhere. You know, we have always a perception of a little bit of like, you know, not enough, not good enough, not this enough. Italian movies have been, we're always complaining. You know, for 20 years, what I'm doing now, I could have said the same thing 20 years ago. We're always saying that we're almost dead as an industry. Then it doesn't actually happen.
I found
Unless you're
articles,
zombies, right? We keep going even if
I
we're
find
not.
articles on Cinema Nuovo in the 60s that say Italian cinema is dead. Exactly the same thing.
And imagine how the great movies they were making.
Yes.
You know,
I know that
You might have noticed that neither Antonio nor I have asked any question about Respiro. And I think we would like to open the discussion to the floor. You might have questions on the film, and so it's your turn if you have any
can I
questions.
say
for-
before that it was
Absolutely.
bad that I came in as soon as the movie was ended, because it kind of like, I think there's always, you need time to, I think you see a movie and then it's like,
Let it settle.
yeah, instead I arrived right away and it was like disruptive, I think, so I apologize for that.
Any question regarding the movie or any other question you might have for Ms. Golino?
Otherwise, I have a question.
Oh.
Please.
Where was it shot?
Where was it shot? Dove l'hai girato?
It was shot in Lampedusa, which is an island. It's the last island of Italy, the most southern piece of Italian land before Africa. It's like really close to Tunisia. It's a Sicilian island, and as you see, gorgeous and poor and beautiful, and also has become the theater of our shameful arrivals of illegal
immigrants
to Italy with the little boats.
There is also the theme of Emanuele Crialese's
Yes.
Terra Ferma, where he deals exactly about that topic.
Yes.
Any other question? Yes. Can we have the lights in the house, please, so we can see the people who are asking questions?
I was just wondering if you did any preparation or research to play a character with bipolar or mood disorder.
I did the preparation on the dialect, which was almost like another language. Some people in Italy don't understand what we're saying, almost. Like distributors wanted to put subtitles because it's such a strong accent and dialect. So I
Sicilian dialect.
the Sicilian, but of that island specifically, of that island, which is even one more step further. So I had to learn that, and I stayed in the island. Like my research was very organic to the place. I stayed there a long time before starting the movie. The two dogs that I have always with me are the two dogs that they were really in the place that you see in the movie. That place is true. It's not that it's a fake place. It's the canile, the dog house of the island. We got them and we chose them under there, so they were living with me in my house that I had, so they could be very, attached. We could be attached to each other. And as far as the bipolar or manic depressive, whatever you want to call it, because you would call that if it was somewhere else. If it was in a less archaic situation, you would have said, if she was in New York, like Woman Under the Influence, the John Cassavetes movie, also had. Have you seen Woman Under the Influence? Well,
It's a great film. We'll talk about it.
Put it on your reading list.
what is, I think, beautiful about this character is that, yes, probably she has that, she's bipolar, but it's also something more mysterious and more existential and more about freedom and more about a free spirit and more about, it has, like, inside of it a possibility of pathological thing, yes, but it's also symbolic of something, of women who don't have a voice. It can become so many things. What's great about this movie, I think, is that it's so simple. It's man, woman, children, island, little community, sea, nature, dogs, cruelty. It's like all the, big sentiments of humanity said in a very light way, but they're all inside in this movie. So she is also, the marginal person of the community, somebody that we can say, oh, look at her, which is very needed in communities, to have the bad example. Don't be a woman like that, or, So there is a lot of man, my English is going.
Layers.
Thanks. A lot of layers. So what I did as far as playing her, being her, it was simply to shift a little bit a part of my personality. Not even that much, just a little bit. Just go a little bit further in my way of being crazy. we all have ways of being like, strange in our bodies, in the way we move, the way we look at things. It's just that we kind of have them under control. It's just like, tick, you put them a little bit further, and then it's not you anymore, it's somebody else.
Thank you for your attention, but we really need to go. Ms. Golino needs to be.
Aww.
No, but it's not an interruption. It's only a suspension. We suspend the
I
time.
like it because I was getting like
We
I was going to talk and talk and talk, and you couldn't leave the room.
We suspended for a drink upstairs, and then we go to IFC, and I hope you will join us, all of you at IFC,
I hope
for
so.
La
Thank you very
Criptonite
much.
della Borsa and